All right, guys, welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes of Mike. I'm your host, Michael Beckford. And in today's topic of the day, I just want to just brief on a subject matter that I've been seeing quite a bit come across my timeline on YouTube. Man, I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, I watch too much YouTube. But here you guys are here on YouTube, so I definitely appreciate you watching, clicking, and guys, also make sure you watch all the way through. That's what helps the algorithm. That's what helps the videos get through. But yeah, I mean, I just want to talk about the topic of most men are trisexual. Now, we already know most women are, okay? So we're not even talking about women at this on this particular gesture. That could be for another video. But I want to talk about men. I'm a man. Um, Most men are trisexual. I'll see you guys on the other side. This is 5 Minutes with Mike. Our news, our voice, our issues. Believe that. All right, guys. I've been having some recent conversation with some friends of mine, and I've also had the pleasure to watch a number of YouTube videos in this particular subject matter. And I have come up with the unforegone conclusion. Okay, now this is not based on any particular statistical data, just based upon nuance, experiences, conversations, and et cetera, et cetera. So, and the reason why it's, first of all, is not based upon statistical data because most men are trisexual. There is no data to there is no specific poll or test to find that out. And even if you did have, let's say, a poll and or questionnaire for most individuals, they're not going to make those confessions because of the fact that obviously we live in a heterosexual normative world. Most individuals are going to identify as being straight. Okay. You guys can see this topic in my YouTube video, The New Face of Gay. He looks straight. All right. And so in this particular thought frame, I just believe that most men are trisexual. So now what is, for those that like, Michael, what are you talking about? What do you mean? So obviously we know you have heterosexual, you have bisexual, you have pansexual, you have transsexual, and a couple other different, versions of sexuality, especially when it comes down to the entire spectrum of the LGBTQIA community. But what I'm referring to right now is the fact that most men are trisexual, okay? Meaning they will try it one time and that's it. Or maybe multiple times. But for the most part, and when I say try it, meaning the it can be a couple variations of different things. So what I have been unraveling and or grasping, I recently saw an interview with a guy by the name of the DL Whisperer. A lot of people are oh my gosh, a lot of people don't like him for various reasons, right? Especially obviously guys that are DL. But he had a lot of pretty good points on a recent interview that he was on. Dude is tall too, tall black man. This dude is tall, freaking. He could barely fit in this chair for how tall he was. But either way, in watching that interview, I come to the conclusion that, and alongside, and not just the interview, just a couple of years as well of just analytical data within my mindset, watching videos myself, interactions, as I stated earlier, to realize that, yeah, most men are trisexual. They'll try maybe a transsexual one time. They'll maybe try just being with the dude one time. They'll try a couple different, they'll try menage a trois, they'll try this and they'll try that. But it does not mean that it actually defines that man in his overall life or his overall future trajectory.
This episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Michael D. Beckford's newest book, HOMEBOYS. Everybody has a homeboy, or friends call his own. The best friend you kick it with at the family barbecue. The one you trust to bring around your lady without raising a red flag. A homeboy will play video games, smoke, and chill. A homeboy is a nigga you can ride or die, and the one you sleep with on the low. HOMEBOYS, available in ebook and paperback or wherever books are sold.
He may have tried it once, and that it could be a woman, right? Obviously. But the it factor for the most part is going to be, because obviously we live in like I said, a world that abides by heterosexual norms. The it factor most likely is going to be he tried a guy in some sort of measure. Or if he did not try, he may have had thoughts and or a curiosity complex. Okay. And so basically, if you go refer to the Bible, it states that, the moment that you lust upon a woman, you've already committed sin, essentially. So just a mere, curiosity and lust of the same sex attraction, obviously is something that can lead into trying something, even you just having the lustful thoughts. Okay. So the basic thing is, when it comes down to it, I think that in understanding all of this, and I'm no gender expert on all of these things, so don't try, come at me in the comments on this. But as I've seen, like I said, in interviews, talks, all these other things, gender in itself and or the aspect of what a man should go after per se, or should quote unquote be attracted to, that aspect is very fluid. Okay. It's not as black and white as when I grew up. You know what I'm saying? When I grew up as a kid, it was a black and white scenario that, hey, man with woman, woman with man, ain't no Adam and Steve, it's Adam and Eve. And those true things as a Christian are very relatively true to what the word of God speaks and preaches. Okay. Those things are very true. But in the terms of the reality of life and or the realities of society as a whole, and growing up in a measure of adulthood, I now have, my eyes have been awakened to the factor that what I was taught when I was younger is not necessarily the aspects of life that I see on today. Now, of course, in school there were sprinkles of guys that were, outcasted for being flamboyant, for being, other, if you would, rainbow affiliated, if you would. But at the same time, that was just surface level. Okay. That was surface level, because you can clearly see this feminine, acting and or portraying and or living out their truth for individuals to see in, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, you see it all, right? All the way through. But for a man that's trisexual, it actually goes into a deeper level. Okay. And what that means is, it means that your average everyday Tyrone could be boning his friend, period. Okay. Or maybe he just tried it once or twice while, they were doing what, it just end up happening. If you don't believe me, read my book, HOMEBOYS. Okay. But anyway, when it comes down to it, trisexual, man being trisexual, it just means that they are in a particular state of mind that this thing I know and I grew up in is wrong according to what society says, society has preached. But my feelings and or lust for the same sex is much more powerful in this particular moment, that'll make me try, quote unquote, fill in the blank. Whether that is a woman with a man with a wig, whether that is a flamboyant guy, a feminine guy, or whether that is someone that looks like a mirror of himself. Quite honestly, most guys like and or are attracted to, when they are in the realm of wanting to try, they will normally mirror the thing in which looks like them. Okay, so for instance, if you're a gangbanger, most likely you want a nigga that's actually gang related that you gonna F with. Point blank, period. Okay? It is what it is. So that's why a lot of guys that are involved, and also the Dale Whisperer mentioned this too, but a lot of guys that are, that could be gang affiliated, maybe also affiliated with themselves in the back door. Okay? Obviously, none of this is saying that all are, right? But some, right? That's why the title says most men are trisexual. Okay? Now, once again, just because, let's say, they tried it once or twice, whether with, like I said, fill in the blank, whichever, you want to say they tried it with, whoever, that was not of the same sex. I mean, that was not of the opposite sex, I should say. Whoever they tried, it does not mean that this is their life story. It does not mean that these men don't go on to live happy, nourishing lives, get married, have kids, and never want to go back into that thing again. Now, unfortunately, though, there is some nuance to, once you dip into that particular Kool-Aid, as they would say, that the strings that are attached is hard to cut off, if you will. Okay. Some of that also is explained in my book that came out some years ago called Dying to Be Straight. Okay. You can catch that on Amazon, right? But the basic thing is, yes, there are some guys that do just, they try one time. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They realize it. Oh shit! I don't like this. I don't f with this. This ain't my thing. You know what I'm saying? They may have came across some, some you know what I'm saying, some Twitter, creative content, if you will. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. All right. So they may have come across that, and it got their mind to thinking. But then when they tried it, quote unquote, they're like, oh, no, hell no, this ain't for me. Or like a guy, let's say, you know what I'm saying, that professes to be in a position of masculinity, aka a top, right? He may have at one point in his life tried to, quote unquote, bottom, but now he decided that ain't for me. Nah, I'm good. I'll do the topping, but I ain't bottoming. Same scenario in that sense. But once again, these guys, just because of the fact that they may have, quote unquote, tried one time with whoever, however, it does not define who they are. And as a matter of fact, I think what happens a lot of times, especially in certain communities, we define people based upon their sexual preference. When really, we shouldn't really give a F about their sexual preference. We should more so just give about what type of impact do they have on our community? What type of what kind of change agent can they be? Think about a Tyler Perry. Like everybody, it's a known, unknown, known secret that Tyler Perry is a part of the rainbow community, right? Everybody knows this. But guess what? This man, not only is he a billionaire, but he has given and lent his voice to jobs for thousands, okay? Thousands of people depend on this particular individual. When he's writing that check, people aren't saying, oh, Mr. Perry, you wrong for that. You wrong for being on with such and such, or that I heard that you was with this person. Nah, they getting that check, they getting that bag. Ex Taraji P. Henson, she got one of the largest checks from Tyler Perry, okay? So, listen, at the end of the day, whatever this person tried, and however they tried in whatever sexual manner, it does not mean that it is what the lifestyle that they're gonna sit in, per se. Some do, obviously. A lot of them don't. Some go back to their heteronormative lives and miss me. Okay, when I say miss me, meaning miss that and never look back. Okay? Like Sodom and Gomorrah, they never look back. Okay? And so, at the end of the day, I think that we all have to evaluate the way that we judge each other, judge society as a whole, and especially the way that we judge our black men. Because your black boy that's growing up in your household, one day we will become a black man. And the way in which you, because most households, when I say you, I'm talking about you as a single mother. For the women that are listening, you are going to be a profound effect of how your son decides to handle and treat sexuality. And if all he sees for the most part is you, in a lot of cases, and I'm not saying this goes for every male, of course it doesn't. There's a lot of masculine men that are raised by single mothers. But in a lot of cases, or actually in some cases, you do have a scenario where this particular young man takes on feminine traits, right? Absolutely. So at the end of the day, and then you have some cases where the individual goes from being in this particular environment of a single mother, don't want that particular lifestyle of the femininity, but is attracted to masculinity because all they seen coming back inside the house was men. Anyway, guys, this is the episode. Please like and subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think about this. Anyway, guys, have a blessed day. Some of your favorite books from the creative mind of Michael D. Beckford are coming soon to quicklit.com.